Customer service. Oh boy, what a topic. It's easy to pick on customer service, especially these days. But then again, customer service gives us all the ammunition we need. Here's a popular and dubious topic: self-checkout. They can have the self-service checkout lines all they want, which is great for small orders, but the lines for the only 2 cashiers on duty are quite long because nobody really wants to do their own work. Next up, help desk. Or, as I've discovered many times, they are more like helpless desk. The task of help desk should be very simple. Focus your 100% consciousness and your brain wattage on what the caller, what the unhappy customer, the confused end user is talking about, and solve that problem. Yet I've called a number of times to a number of different help desks over my life, and I'm thinking they're watching a movie or something. It's like they don't have time for me. I've more than once have been tempted to ask them, it's like, what's the score of the game you're watching? I'm not exactly sure I remember how long this particular tactic has been employed by help desk. It's a psychological ploy, and I've seen this talked about in other places, where they basically affirm that they heard you by repeating everything you just said. And they always start out with, well, I understand that you're unhappy. Duh. You know, if I had wanted a response like that, I could have gone into any pet store and said the same thing, and I could have gotten a response. Ah, you're unhappy. The reason I have issue with that tactic is because more times than not, I've noticed they can quote me, but they don't understand what I'm saying. If you're going to have a help desk phone number to help people, maybe hire enough people to handle the workload so customers aren't online for an hour plus. Or here is a radical idea: get a better product or better service. A complaint I've heard a lot more often than I expected was when people want to talk to a manager and the manager is unavailable. Wow, how'd that happen? And you start wondering, it's like, are these managers actually hiding in their offices or wandering somewhere else in the store where they can't be found? I usually don't go straight to asking for the manager, but I do ask for someone who can make a decision. There was one time I was on the phone with a cable rep, and I would tell my story. Well, I can't do anything about it. Well, is there anybody that I can talk to who can make a decision? So I got the next person in line. Repeated the story. Oh, well, I can't make that decision. Okay. Can I talk to somebody who can? Then they send me to somebody else. Same damn thing. And one call, I talked to 4 different people until they finally decided that they could only give me partial refund or whatever it happened to be. I had a cable company regional manager one time hung up on me because they didn't like what I was saying. A word of advice to all those who do customer service. I know a lot of you out there are being tasked by bosses, management, to upsell stuff, to sell particular products. When you've made your pitch and the customer has said no, then it's no. Don't try to browbeat them. Don't try to use your logic that your way is best. The customer said no. Drop it. If the customer has to tell you no more than once, you run the risk of pissing them off. And that's the opposite of customer service. So, do I have a solution to cure all of the customer service woes and ills? Of course I don't. I don't even work in customer service anymore. But I do have a suggestion for all those who do work customer service. An observation that I've made. It's not about you. It's about the customer. I mean, that should be obvious. Back in my security control center days, my coworker was ranting at a delivery guy because he wasn't following her directions to the letter on how to get to a particular building. And she was being unreasonably disrespectful to this guy because he didn't understand her. I don't think this guy's first language was English, but she ranted at him about this anyway. And I wanted to tell her, I was like, look, you two have a lot in common. You're just trying to do a job. But you're taking it personal that he didn't understand you, as if you honestly believe he's not taking you serious. That attitude, among others, has no business in customer service. This is where I was originally going to end the video, with some thoughts on ways that we could maybe eliminate some of these bad customer service issues. But when I rewatched the final version, I realized that idea of mine actually had a really cool story idea involved. So I took it out of the video. I'm reshooting it now, obviously. And that idea will show up in the form of a short story probably sometime later. As my schedule is right now, I've got a lot of things in front of it, but I do want to work on that story because I kind of like it. It'll freak a lot of people out, piss a lot of people off, and who cares? That's the cool thing about being a writer, I think.